Yoking oneself with an unbeliever, especially in the context of close relationships like marriage, business partnerships, or deep friendships, can have significant spiritual, emotional, and practical effects. Here are some of the key impacts from a biblical and life application perspective. Spiritual conflict, 2 Corinthians 6:14 KJV. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? When two people have fundamentally different beliefs, especially about God, it often leads to tension and compromise in spiritual matters. One may want to live for Christ while the other may not care about God's ways. The believer may be pressured to compromise their values to maintain peace in the relationship. Over time, this can weaken their faith and lead them away from God's path. Lack of shared purpose. Yoking means working side by side toward the same goal, like two oxen plowing together. If one person follows Christ and the other does not, their life goals, values, and motivations are often misaligned. Differences in worldviews can create misunderstandings and conflict. Important decisions such as raising children, finances, and moral choices may be approached differently, causing stress and division. A believer often grows spiritually through encouragement, prayer, and fellowship. Being yoked with someone who doesn't share that spiritual hunger can limit growth or even pull the believer backwards. Witness is weakened. Being closely connected with someone who rejects the faith can affect your witness to others. It may confuse people or make them question the seriousness of your walk with God. Let's see this in another perspective in marriage, yoking with an unbeliever. Marriage is the most intimate form of yoking. It's lifelong and it involves deep emotional, physical, and spiritual bonding. Spiritual misalignment. You'll have different priorities. One seeks to please God, the other may not even believe He exists. Praying together, attending church, raising children in the faith. These become very difficult or even impossible. Constant tension. Decisions around values, discipline, finances, and morality become battlegrounds. You may feel lonely spiritually, like you're doing life without support in your walk with God. Risk of backsliding. The unbelieving spouse may influence the believer away from God, especially when love, peace, or compromise becomes more important than obedience. God's design. Marriage is meant to reflect Christ and the church, Ephesians 5:25-27. That picture becomes distorted when one spouse doesn't recognize Christ at all. 2. In close friendships or partnerships. While not as binding as marriage, close friendships or business partnerships still involve deep trust and shared direction. Values clash. Friends influence your choices, attitudes, and priorities. If they don't honor God, they may encourage things that go against your faith. Uneven burdens. You'll often find yourself having to explain or defend your faith, or stay silent just to keep the peace. Misdirection. In business, you might be pressured to act unethically. In friendships, you might be drawn into environments or conversations that grieve your spirit. What to do? Before entering such relationships, seek God's direction. It's always better to wait for God's best than to settle for what looks good but pulls you away from Him. If you're already yoked, pray consistently. God's grace can work in those situations and your life can still be a testimony. See 1 Peter 3:1-2 for encouragement to wives of unbelieving husbands. So in all your relationships, especially the ones that shape your future, choose wisely. God's word calls us to walk in the light, not to be unequally yoked with those who walk in darkness. It's not about judging others, but about protecting your purpose, your peace, and your walk with Christ. If you're already yoked with an unbeliever, don't lose heart. God can still work in your situation. Keep praying, keep loving, and let your life be a witness. Thanks for watching. If this blessed you or gave you something to think about, please like this video. Share it with someone who needs it, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more faith-based content to strengthen your walk with God. Stay strong, stay faithful, and God bless you.